I'm Ryan Dvorak with Slide Anchor, and today I'm here to show you how to anchor a boat. When anchoring in Lake Havasu, you've got a bunch of different options. Today we're going to go over the three most popular: the Danforth Anchor, the Mushroom Anchor, and the Box Anchor. We're going to start off with the one that's been around the longest, the Mushroom Anchor. This anchor's been around since the early 1800s. You're going to need to attach a chain to it. The idea is when it hits the bottom, for the anchor to roll over and set into the bottom. This anchor is primarily used in soft bottoms and notoriously doesn't have very good holding power. One of the nice things about it, it's heavy, but it's easy to store. So this anchor has been very popular with smaller boats. So on the Danforth Anchor, the shank and the fluke open up to 32 degrees. You have to keep the shank of the anchor on the bottom in order for the anchor to work. The chain helps keep the shank down, and as you drag it across the bottom, the anchor will set. The weight of the chain and the length of the chain keeps the shank on the bottom, because if you don't have chain on the anchor, it'll just pull the end of the shank up and the anchor will skip across the bottom. The Coast Guard recommends you use the length of the boat and chain. In unprotected waters like Lake Havasu, you can easily get away with 6 feet of chain. On the other end of the chain is where you're going to attach your anchor line. The rode is the length of chain and the rope together. With the Danforth Anchor, you're going to need 3 to 4 times the depth of the water in order to get the anchor to set. The point is you have to drag the anchor across the bottom with the shank completely down and power down on the anchor to get it to set into the bottom. The Box Anchor is the newest on the scene and requires absolutely no lead chain like the Mushroom Anchor and the Danforth Anchor. The reason the Box Anchor requires no chain is you no longer need to keep the shank on the bottom. The Box Anchor is designed to pull at a 45-degree angle toward the boat. You want it to lift up to lock into the bottom. Therefore, no lead chain. In addition to actually using no lead chain and just a 2-to-1 scope, the Box Anchor will set in virtually any bottom. Mud, rock, sand, grass, it doesn't matter. For removal, all you need to do is position your boat back up over the anchor and pop it loose for the bottom. Which means in wind or current change, you don't even have to touch the anchor. As the boat spins around, the anchor rolls over and resets instantly. As unwieldy as the Box Anchor seems for storage on your boat, simply release the stabilizing bar in the center, and the anchor folds completely flat for storage. The type of anchor line you use is also very important. You want your anchor line to sink, and you want it to stretch to absorb the shock on the anchor. The best anchoring line you're going to want to use is going to be a nylon. Obviously sinks and stretches. People sell polypropylene line and call it anchor line. It floats and doesn't stretch. Stay away from that. With nylon anchor line, you've got a couple of different choices. You've got twisted nylon and braided nylon. The twisted nylon kind of looks like the rifling in a gun barrel. Twisted nylon stretches slightly more than the braided does, but the braided's got a higher braking strength, and it's generally more supple and easier to put around cleats. We already talked about using a good quality anchor shackle on your anchor to connect either the rope or the chain to the anchor, depending on which version you have. A lot of people are tempted to use a carabiner, a gate clip carabiner. What happens when you do that? The chances are pretty good you're going to end up losing your anchor. Lake Havasu City has plenty of beautiful coves and canyons to anchor in, like Copper Canyon, for example, one of the most popular ones. When you're anchoring in a cove or a canyon, you have to remember that your boat's going to move after you deploy the anchor. For example, with a Box Anchor, you're going to have a 2-to-1 scope. With a Danforth Anchor, you're going to have a 3 or 4-to-1 scope. So if you want to be in this location, you're going to need to pull your boat farther upwind from where you want to be, deploy the anchor, and then let the boat drift back until you have the appropriate amount of anchor line out. That way your anchor can set. And one more thing, before you deploy your anchor into the water, it's a really good idea to tie the end of the rope off to one of your cleats before you put it into the water. So many people don't realize how deep the water is, or if you have a tangle in the line, lay this across one of your cleats before you deploy the anchor so you don't lose the whole mess. Thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit about anchoring in Lake Havasu, and thanks for watching How to Havasu.